So looking at the graph, just assuming that there is a social optimum price and quantity within the market, and the decisions of businesses, consumers are not aligned with that. So part of the information provision that the Bank of England gives around the forward guidance is to try to create more rational, more social optimum decisions. So forward guidance on monetary policy and regulation. In terms of stress tests, this is the Financial Policy Committee doing economic analysis in terms of what-if scenarios. So specific economic shocks, and could banks keep lending? Do they have the finances that would allow them to continue to operate if the economy took a significant downturn? So linked back to those capital requirements before, they've said that they want the capital to increase as a bank, and then the stress test would test to see whether or not the banks could survive. So examples of things they've looked at in the past are worst case Brexit scenarios, so trade significantly falling, country goes into a recession, Chinese debt becomes a crisis, and this impacts the global economies, and they give a report on the extent to which individual banks, so Barclays or HSBC, could withstand that. And that stress test information tells consumers, but also the banks themselves, whether you're a high risk or a low risk bank. And that information is out in the public domain so that consumers can decide where to save their money if they want to save it in a high or low risk bank. But then it also encourages banks, through more of a carrot than a stick, to make themselves more secure. The US and the EU do the same, and the hurdles are slightly different. So whereas the UK government might say all of our 5 big banks have passed the stress test, sometimes the EU, which looks at slightly different criteria, says that our banks are a bit riskier than we do. However, in the current situation, we are aware that there are some unknown or unplanned for stresses. So this period now with the coronavirus is a significant shock that we haven't planned for, and whether or not the banks could withstand this is unknown.